Like this is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Snoozing between meetings. We're going to call the regular board meeting of July the 8th, 2014 to order, and we'll start out first with the invocation. I ask Alderman Barnhill to lead that, and then I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance, so if we could all stand, please.
Would you bow, please? Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer tonight, thanking you for this day and for all the many blessings that we have. We recognize that we are truly a blessed nation. We see chaos, we see confusion everywhere, but we know that we have freedoms that many, many other countries do not have and do not share. We give you thanks for these blessings. We also ask that you be with the soldiers that we have that are in foreign countries that are protecting the freedoms that we so cherish. Be with the families. We know it is difficult on the soldiers' families and the soldiers to be separated. We ask that you be with each of us tonight as we make decisions that affect the direction in which the city of Franklin will go. Give us spiritual wisdom and guidance. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4 is an opportunity for citizens to express grievances or statements for issues that are not on the agenda. So anyone that has concern that's not on the agenda is welcome to come forward now. I don't see anyone. Number 5 is opportunity for communications from Williamson County Mayor, Williamson County Commission. I see no one here. Next would be, we don't have any minutes to approve. Are there any, we have no recognitions that I'm aware of, so now we're to miscellaneous reports. Alderman Skinner.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remind everybody that Sunday, July 13th, the Civil War Roundtable of Franklin will present Alan Corey as the minister, and he'll conduct the funeral of Leonidas Polk. Should be very interesting. Alan Corey is a local reenactor and actor, and it should be a very interesting presentation. Again, that's 3 o'clock at the community room of the police building, and it's free and open to the public.
Okay.
Can I
Mr.
give
Stuckey.
one quick personal report?
Yes, sir.
Whenever somebody does something that isn't easy to do for a long period of time, I think they need to be recognized. And as of today, my wife Lisa has been married to me for 25 years. And that's not always easy. So I just thought I'd share that with the group, and what a great way to spend your anniversary, right?
And she,
Honey, I'll make it up to you, I promise.
and she did call today and said, can you make the meetings longer and more often? So,
That might be, I don't know.
congratulations. Yeah, that's pretty special. Yeah. Okay, we're on number 9, consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial or routine in nature by the governing body. They will be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. Tonight we're considering items numbers 16 through 28, and I'd consider a motion.
I move for approval with withdrawing number 25.
Second.
Okay, appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next is number 10. This is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2014-09, an ordinance to amend various sections of Chapter 4 of Title 16 of the amended Franklin Municipal Code regarding impact fees. And I would tell you that we did make some minor textual improvements after the work session, and Mr. Parker has added that to your desk tonight, so I would entertain a motion for approval as amended.
I move for approval as amended.
Public hearing.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to lay out of my way. Okay, back to order. Does anybody want to speak to this body about this particular item? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Now I'll entertain the
Yes.
motion as amended.
Move
And,
for approval as amended.
Thank you.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, passes unanimously. Item number 11, this is a public hearing consideration ordinance 2014-18 to be entitled an ordinance to rezone 77.7 acres from general commercial to Pacific Development Variety District for the property located at southeast corner of East McEwen Drive and Carruthers Parkway. Does anyone want to speak to this body? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Appropriate motion second, open for discussion.
Just want to say that this is our first specific development variety approval.
Yes.
And so, and also, it's not only that, but a project that we are really looking forward to having become a part of our city.
Any other discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 12, this is a public hearing, consideration resolution 2014-42 to be entitled a resolution approving the development plan for the Ovation subdivision, including 2 modification of standards located on a portion of the property at the southeast corner of East McEwen Drive and Carruthers Parkway for the city of Franklin, Tennessee. So what we'll need to do is consider the modification of standards.
Just a public hearing first.
I'm sorry, I'm just really going too fast tonight. Anybody want to speak to the body on this? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed, and then I'll continue on about approving the modification, or voting on the modifications of standards, and then voting for the entire resolution after we voted on the modification of standards. And the first modification of standards was parking. And
I move for disapproval of this. However, there needs to be kind of an amendment to that. The planning commission, by majority, did vote for disapproval, and then our staff made a suggestion about an alternate or an option there, and so.
Want me to describe that?
Yes, if you will.
One of the things that have been talked about as an alternative is to look at a deferred parking plan. And the further discussion about that would be a commitment to bring that deferred parking plan back to the Planning Commission and the board at a future workshop for review and input on that plan. As it's written, it's provided that the staff could go ahead and approve a deferred parking plan of this nature. There was some interest in at least reviewing and giving some input on that, so we would commit to bring that back to you at the appropriate time to a workshop to get input from planning commissioners and from board members present.
So there would be,
So I'd forward in a motion
A motion.
directing us to provide that deferred parking plan at a future joint workshop between the planning commission and the board of mayor and aldermen.
and
Is
that,
that
and
your-
that's part of my motion.
This is
At a
your-
more appropriate time.
Yes.
Okay, I second that.
okay.
So what are they gonna do about parking until then?
They're gonna start building, they're gonna let us know. when they get
They're
there.
gonna live
No.
within the parking, what's proposed here is that you'd live within the parking
Yeah.
standards as they are
they are
written now.
written.
That we have?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
And then
Does that answer it?
they'd still be able to provide a deferred parking plan.
Yeah.
Alderman Clinton?
Are we still talking about differentiating between rental and owner occupied?
That is not a part of our zoning ordinance, and so we would
Well,
not be.
well, I understand, the modification of standard 1 parking appears to, that the applicant is requesting that there be a differentiation between the number of parking places required for rental units versus owner units. I don't know if that's still being considered. I have reservations about whether we do the modification standards overall is one thing, but differentiating between those two things on the front end is problematic to me, because the truth of the matter is, it's going to be a long build-out, and one never knows exactly what you're going to wind up with. We have seen, maybe more elsewhere, but it is not unheard of that a project begin with the idea that it will be one thing, and then it winds up another. And the difference between owner, I don't know how you police that anyway, but even if you could, the difference to me is you could have the same structure as built, go back and forth from one to the other.
Good point.
And so
This is a motion.
it doesn't make much sense to me to create that kind of differentiation when the building as built will be subject to becoming one or the other from time to time.
Another good reason to recommend disapproval.
And the motion is to deny
Yeah.
this modification standard, just to clarify with the amendment. Alderman Berger?
Well, that's basically what I was going to say, is that we don't know, and they may not know exactly what's going to go in there at the time, what kind of units. It may be rental, it may be for sale. Do we, Mr. Mayor, may we hear from the applicant?
Sure.
I'd like to hear what they have to say.
I'll suspend it, so we.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Moore. My name is Dwight Kaiser with Kaiser Vogren Design of Franklin, Tennessee. Alderman McClendon, we originally did apply for the modification standards on parking. As we went through the process with the Planning Commission, saw the error of our ways, withdrew that. We did request the development of the deferred parking plan, and we are happy with that and would like to pursue that process.
Any other discussion? You ready to vote on modification standard 1 for denial? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll now move on to modification standard 2, which had to do with building length. Is anyone, is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Appropriate motion, seconded by Alderman Bransford. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. We'll now move on to voting for the entire resolution with the modification of standards that we have approved. So is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Appropriate motion seconded by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 13, this is a public hearing, consideration of ordinance 2014-19, an ordinance by fiscal year 2014 fourth quarter budget amendments. This will be the second final reading. I think for clarification, I would ask Mr. Truill if he might update us on the modifications or the changes that occurred in this before we have a motion.
I think you received a list of some of the adjustments that we've made. The largest one was in the road impact fee, where there was a substantial reduction because of collections in the month of June. We recommend that you modify the amendment to reflect these new amounts that are highlighted in yellow.
So the motion should be to approve the ordinance as modified based on this new document.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion?
The good news is the road impact fees are almost paying for themselves now, which is wonderful. It's been a little while since that was the case.
And these are largely driven by the requirements to have balances at the end of the year in each of the funds, and the cash approach that our comptroller's office is recommending be taken in the fund accounting that we go through. So a lot of these are driven, really all of these are driven by the timing of revenues in these funds and when they occur, and that we basically settle these up by the end of the fiscal year to make sure that we have no negative balances in any funds. And this helps us achieve that.
And unfortunately, I got out of order again, and I didn't ask if there's any public comments after Mr. Truill commented, but I did have a motion and a second, but we'll go back to any public comments, and I don't see any, so Does your motion and second still stand? And if so, and there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank goodness this isn't a public hearing now, so I can stay organized tonight. Consideration Resolution 2014-54, a resolution to authorize staff to enter into contract negotiations with Barg, Wagoner, Sumner, and Cannon for the professional services agreement of a comprehensive Parks and Recreation 10-year master plan.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Next is consideration of amendment number 1 to professional services agreement with Smith Seckman Reed for limited construction, engineering, and inspection services on the Hillsborough Road improvement projects. Ms. Martin has recused herself. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 7 with 1 recusal. Next, we'll entertain a motion to, nope, we got one more over here. Item number 25, consideration renewal liquor license retailer certificate for Harpeth Liquors, 1203 Murfreesboro Road, Suite 503, Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah, as we talked about at the work session, we are doing some additional review here, and our typical background check that the police department conducted was satisfactory. There was a further review that did reveal one outstanding tax lien with this applicant for an outstanding lien in Marshall County, Kentucky. So what our recommendation is that we move forward with the authorization of the local license and forward that information on to the state ABC for their consideration.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. I might take one quick opportunity before we go into executive session to recognize that we do have representation for the new conference center ownership located here tonight, and it did pass. The document did, so that's good news, and we welcome you and glad you're here and look forward to a great working relationship and look forward to a motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye. From executive session, are there any matters to be considered from executive session?
No, sir.
Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Bye-bye. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Did you miss it?